I'm gonna just touch on this topic, not too much. I'm not gonna put too much energy into it. To be honest with you, you have to look at the optics of the situation. This goes hand in hand with psychology, sociology, you know, just basically how the real world treats you based on the history of this country and what everybody has went through, whether you benefit from it, whether you didn't. So what I'm about to play right now, I'm about to show you why segregation is probably the best option for society to move on past this pandemic, due to the president of the United States at that time the pandemic struck, labeled the actual virus. It's always something with racism. It's always something with sexism, and it's, you have to view the optic. It's the things that are the surrounding factors that basically make everything worse, no matter what you do. We have two friends for a long time, Shannon Sharpe, Skip Bayless. Shannon Sharpe is actually married to a white woman. His wife and Skip Bayless's wife, they're actually friends on outside of this. Um, what what's going on here is we have a retired Hall of Famer named Shannon Sharpe who he picks and chooses, what battles, and he sides with a certain type of fan base and a support system, and he's a harsh critic. He has a platform. He's a harsh critic on specific athletes, like he gives no credit to. So my point about it is, for years now, the white people have to be sensitive on what they critique, especially when it's comparing athletes of color or athletes of non-color. So we have two friends. Skip Bayless is he's actually controversial. He's an adversarial type of guy. Like he's an adversary, and he has his own opinion on whatever, he judges, and he's entitled to it. So right now it's who's right and who's wrong, right? Because the adversity that surrounds Skip Bayless is that he gets really emotional off of certain things, and he doesn't care, like, if he rubs anybody the wrong way. So I'm gonna play this for you. This is just straight hate by a guy who's jealous that he can still play at a high level at 45 when you had to stop at 13.5. Yeah, that's the point. That's what you do. Every time I call something in question, I'm jealous. No, I did what I did. You're jealous of Baker Mayfield. Yeah, I did what I did. You see? You see how much sense that makes? So Tom Brady is a white quarterback in the NFL. Tom Brady is not just a white quarterback in the NFL. Baker Mayfield is. Tom Brady is probably the best quarterback to ever play the game. Okay? He's probably the best quarterback ever. Tom Brady is pushing 50. He's closer to 50. Then he's closer to 40 because he's 45, and time goes on. It doesn't go back. So he's closer to 50 than he is to 40. And he won a Super Bowl last year, if I'm not mistaken. And he was just traded and let go from his team that he's been with his whole career, landed in a new team, and won a Super Bowl. So now it looks like to white media that
Shannon Sharp, even though he's married to a white woman, he picks on Tom Brady because of the color of his skin. Have Tom Brady been a black guy and had all the accomplishments that Tom Brady has, would Shannon Sharp still have this energy? Now, Shannon Sharp, he comes down on certain basketball players. He's really big on errors, on what time, which years, decades, centuries that these people have played in, whether it's football, basketball, whatever. He comes down on it. So, Shannon Sharp he was awesome back in the day. He was a tight end. He played for the Broncos. I think he has 3 rings. He was strong. He was fast, elusive. He had agility. He had dexterity. He was good, and he gloats on his accomplishments. He gloats on how he played, and there's nothing wrong with that. But these guys are best friends. Skip just kept it real because at this point in time, uh, you should just have nothing but flowers for Tom Brady. He's an old man. One hit could take him out forever. You see what happened to Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman was a Cowboys quarterback a long time ago. He got I think his was it yeah. I think he got hit really hard by LeVar Arrington. Uh maybe I think he broke his sternum and it was over. I think it was LeVar Arrington. He took a hard hit. And LeVar Arrington is a beast. Broke his whole sternum. Put him in retirement. So I say that because at any given moment, Tom Brady could be snatched out of here. And hopefully if he is snatched out, he would still be in one piece. And he wouldn't be hurt for the rest of his life. That's just me. I'm a Tom Brady fan. I mean, my favorite football player of all times is Randy Moss. Skip, Shannon, they come down on Randy Moss. My favorite basketball player of all time is Paul Pierce. People despise Paul Pierce or whatever. People just have their own opinions. But it's very true that just so happened Shannon Sharp insults Tom Brady as much as possible in the legacy that Tom Brady already established. He should have his flowers. Because when it comes down to talking about LeBron James, when Skip comes down on LeBron James, and LeBron is younger than Tom Brady for about 6 years, maybe even 8, Shannon goes off because that's his friend. LeBron, Shannon Sharp are good friends. And, when Shannon gets mad at his other friend who is Skip Bayless, and I think they were friends before he was friends with LeBron, Shannon had been, it looks a little weird and funny. So if you look at the white community, you can actually understand that they're fed up on trying to make things right and trying to correct things with the black community, because no matter what, the colored community is not going to forget and forgive. They're going to capitalize on every opportunity. This could be, a sign also. You see Shannon's getting older, his hairline is starting to recede. Stress can do that to you, and then somebody on national TV in front of millions of people embarrassing you will contribute to your lineup receding and falling out. Skip might go back and think that's funny. But it's stuff like that you may not pay attention to that actually happens, and it's worse than what you would ever understand, that you have another human being trying to stress you out because they see that your hair is falling out. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame. Oh, I said, so what? He's way better than you are. I'm better than you. You see how there's an alternative there. There's an ultimatum of their friendship. You see what I'm saying? Like, cause Skip got Shannon his job. Skip just told Shannon he's a better football player than you. They play two different positions, like I said. Tom Brady's a quarterback. Shannon was a tight end, right? Um, Skip loves Tom Brady, and every chance Shannon gets, he just pulverizes Tom Brady. He lets him have it. And the adversar that Skip is, he wants to stir this controversy because you expose yourself. You see how he blew up and Skip Bayless isn't a football player? He said, well, Tom Brady's a better football player than you. And then he comes back with, I'm better than you, but he caught himself. Because he know he doesn't make no sense. He's acting off of raw emotion every single time. As a colorful analyst and a commentator, you have to be open and give credit when credit is due. You know, that's the reason why athletes just stuck to being an athlete and athletic as opposed to these commentators being commentators. Because now you give somebody like Shannon Sharpe a platform who has a player's vendetta and an athlete's vendetta against other athletes. And if he says anything wrong about a specific athlete, there's always a reason or a situation behind it. And then he can protect and cover himself by blaming on racism or sexism, stuff like that. So now, as you can see, Shannon Sharpe is upset. And I want you to look at the optics as if you were a psychologist or a sociologist. Because how does this look? If it was two colored people arguing up here or two white people arguing, which they hardly do, it's always the colored people that's on TV arguing you down. If you go to that Stephen A. Smith show on ESPN, you're actually going to see it all the time. So that's why they try to balance it out. However, I'll give credit when credit is due. You don't see this between two white commentators. They'll have a disagreement, but they hardly blow up as much as the black people do. And, you know, sometimes it makes headlines. Oh, this person had an argument with this person or insulted this person. I think it was Terrell Owens said that Max Kellerman was more black than Stephen A. He got mad. You can see Corey Holcomb. He has something to say about Stephen A. Stephen A. went on national TV on a sports network, and he referred to Corey Holcomb. Like, it's stuff like that. It always happens. They just decide, are they gonna give it play or not? You know. Now, I'm not gonna say the white audience and the white commentators are perfect. They never go through anything, but they do. They go through stuff, you know. But it happens more in the black community. LeVar Ball, a black man, bump heads with everybody to the point where they started banning him and trying to blackball his kids from playing basketball. And all his kids is nice in basketball.
You take personal shot. No, I don't take personal shot. You started it. You would take a personal shot at me.
So now Shannon's feelings is in it. As a psychologist, is this mental health? Does he have an ego? Is there demons and skeletons in his closet? Or is Skip picking at him? Skip knows where to hurt him. They're friends. What's going on? The optics of it. You see? Who's right and who's wrong? If you don't have this situation where it's the chessboard, where black and white are on the same platform, if you don't have this, then it doesn't create an argument of racism. It doesn't create an argument of discrimination. You can't sit up here and say, well, the white man is taking advantage of the black man, or the black man is trying to take advantage of the victim. Had it been two commentators of the same race. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what leads to my next discussion. because we have all of these negative topics that we're taught as kids, and we're actually growing up on hate. We didn't have to know about discrimination. We didn't have to know about racism. We didn't have to know about slavery. We didn't have to know about certain things. And we are constantly taught it at an age where your brain is like a sponge, and you're learning and soaking up everything. We're constantly taught it. But that's my point. We need to get rid of the friendship. Just make it a business shit. Have a segregation implemented into everything we do, but have it appropriatized to where, we can act cordially. We just not working with each other.
Well, I'm better than you. You take personal shots. No, I don't take personal shots. You started it. You would take a personal shot at me. I can take you. Wait a minute. What are you talking about? You would take a personal shot. Glasses back on.
You see?
Can I finish?
And now Skip, he gets to play the other side of the spectrum. And now Skip gets to become a crazed, wild fan in society that will want to throw a shot at an athlete. Like, you see how people keep bugging Russell Westbrook, and he turns into this hyena of a person, and he constantly, he snickers at the audience because they say things to him. So this is my point. You see how Skip set him off, and now it worked. The glasses is off. Next thing you know, it's gonna turn into something, you know what I'm saying, that it didn't have to turn into. So he's laughing, right? Now Shannon's boiling. I mean, I think like some of his hairline and fell out as he took off his glasses. Here Skip is stress-free. I mean, he do got the little vein in his head. He's turning pink. He has this Hulk Hogan smile, but he did this purposely. And he's showing his community on how it really is and what really can happen and how this is just business. Because colored people aren't going to see eye to eye with Skip. Not each and every person. Some of them are, but some of them aren't either. Me personally, I'm a little offended that it got this far. Right? I am. I'm offended. But I'm also offended that Shannon Sharpe keeps taking shots at Tom Brady instead of just give him his roses. It's like, if you could call me whatever you want to call me. You could call me an Oreo. You could call me whatever you want to call me. The man is 45. You're a football player. Have a heart. Don't sit up there and keep downing him. It shouldn't be, well, Tom, I think you should hang it up, this, that, and the third. You should, well, they fell again, but Tom, he continuously puts his heart out there. The great effort that he shows. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can have some positive encouragement. He never does. So, Skip is right.
You want me to take a personal shot at me to say this man is better than me because I say he's playing bad? Because you disrespect him. It's just so. You know what? It's beneath your dignity. You disrespect me to support him. No, well, I'll support him over anybody because he's the greatest player ever played your game, and it's by far. Okay, I'm going to have at it because I'm going to have at you because.
You see? And now he's smiling. I mean, you could take it for what it is. Cause now I'm gonna have at you. And you see he has his extra disciplinary voice. And he has his his evil old man grunt. Because he's fed up of somebody disrespecting his favorite player. I mean, I could feel him on this. Because I feel insulted when people disrespect Randy Moss. I feel insulted when people disrespect Paul Pierce, especially Paul Pierce. Because I used to argue with teachers, argue with the whole school. And they didn't know nothing about who Paul Pierce was. Like we had a question air, like, and our teacher would ask us who's your favorite athlete or whatever, and there was a whole bunch of Allen Iverson fans, Tracy McGrady fans, Kobe Bryant fans. Nobody would be better than Jordan. And here I am with a white and green Paul Pierce jersey, and I was like, Paul Pierce is my favorite player. And everybody was like, what? Who is that? And they give me that. Psh, psh. Didn't he get stabbed? This, that, and the third. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? And then you come to find out, if you look at the stats, go look at the old school games. My favorite player was actually the killer of every one of those players I just named. He was actually the kryptonite, and he actually brutalized each of those players I just named. And then they wouldn't give them his credit or his curtains, and he didn't really have a team at that time before he won his championship. And I'm talking about, this is prime Pierce when he was younger, in his 20s. I couldn't get a break. People insult me, they'll assault everything I do, like all over me having an opinion. This was a form of bullying of why I like Paul Pierce. I said I liked him because he's 6'7", 230. He plays a shooting guard. He can shoot the ball real well. He dunks on you in traffic. He plays good defense. Yeah, but he doesn't have the highlights, this, that, and the third. I was like, and that's why he's my favorite player, because he actually comes to win. It's like comparing Kawhi to, who's a flashy shooting guard? All right, to a flashy shooting guard, the one that has favoritism. Maybe, all right, compare Kawhi or LeBron. LeBron has, flash to his game, but Kawhi is like a killer, and he comes and he wins the game. He doesn't play above the rim, but he dunks on you. You feel what I'm saying? It's stuff like that. His handle isn't the best, but it works. He has a jump shot. He plays great defense, and he wins. I guess that's the bad part about sports, and that's why America is shamed for the spectacle of sports. As you can see, everybody goes to school and they want to become an athlete. Like, a lot of people want to become a football player. They want to become a basketball player and get paid a whole bunch of money, instead of going to school and actually obtaining a degree, or, learning for something. They want the easy way out. Well, I could play a game for the rest of my life and make millions. And it's a distraction within the community and society, because you don't want to tell your kid, no, like, I don't think you could play in the NBA. I think you need to take these extra math classes to become an accountant, because the likeliness of having that salary over an NBA salary is higher, and that's what you want to gamble on. But then again, your kid might have a special talent. Then you have the other sport, which is boxing, where you completely take your kid out of school and you make them train 24/7. It's easy to go pro. All you have to do is have a gym, declare or register your hands and declare yourself pro, and see who wants to endorse you for a fight. As opposed to the NFL, the NBA, you have to go through a draft, and it's a whole bunch of processes you have to go through. You see what I'm saying? There's different doors. But the average parent wants their kid to go to school, not become distracted, learn about every subject, and be able to provide and be something like a teacher and have a salary. But it's stuff like this.
What happened yesterday? The Bucks defense was horrendous.
So that's the video. I just want you people to pay attention to what's really going on after the world, after society is opening up after this pandemic. You see that everybody they sat back, and now everybody is just thinking and dwelling on the past, and they're dwelling on everything we did before the wake up.